Hello there. It's very early in the morning and I've been awake since 2 a.m. I wake up every night between about 2:30 and about 4:30 and I can't sleep. I've taken a codeine tablet for my toothache, which isn't as bad as it was. But yeah. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 5:55 a.m.
5:55 a.m. Alexa, where am I?
You're at Beach Road, Custoke Signet Hospital in Weston-super-Mare.
Beach Road, Custoke, Signet Hospital, Weston-super-Mare. Alexa, how far is it from here to Timbuktu in miles?
3,846 kilometres is about 2,390 miles.
About 2,390 miles away from Timbuktu. Anyway, I've just been surfing the internet. I'm a sloblet. One of the service users bought me a Big Mac yesterday, and I ate the Big Mac, which just contained meat, which I'm not proud of at all, and just left it on my desk. But just posted this on Facebook. Let's have a look. So it disappeared there. Just wanted to read it to you. In Nigeria, modern slavery, including child sex trafficking, happens to approximately 7.8 per 1,000 people, based on the 2023 Global Slavery Index. 75% are reportedly children. In the UK, identified potential child trafficking victims via NRM in 2023, with a UK population of roughly 67 million, 7,432 referrals equates to approximately 0.11 per 1,000 people. Rounding to a reasonable number of significant figures, an event with a statistical frequency of 0.11 is approximately 71 times less likely to occur than an event that takes place at a statistical frequency of 7.8%. So, proportionately, you could argue that a Nigerian national is, if we're to use the above figures to base an assumptive conclusion on, roughly around 70 times more statistically likely to be a paedophile or potentially a child sex trafficker. That's based on sex trafficking figures in Nigeria presenting as an overwhelming majority of 75% being children, than a UK national, one which one might proffer. But this is essentially discrimination and isn't an assertion I'd ever support anyone making for obvious reasons, let alone align with myself. Sorry I can't read properly, I've been up since 2 in the morning. The ethnicity of Signet healthcare staff presenting as majoritively of Nigerian origin in no way justifies or supports baseless allegations and conspiracy theories I've recounted over recent years regarding serious organised crime at Signet hospitals, although it's fair to say the disproportionate racial demographic of staff may leave something to be desired with regards to ethnic diversity on the equality from a human resources and corporate social responsibility perspective. In fact, I would say that having discussed these thoughts and issues with a number of ethnic minority staff since being detained under section, many quite vehemently hold strong views on these subjects and don't in any way agree or attempt to do anything but condemn these kinds of crimes as human beings. Anyone who's been an inpatient or a visitor at a Signet hospital may broadly perceive this assertion surrounding disproportionately high numbers of African staff to be true. I'd assumptively roughly place it at around 8 out of 10 Signet staff being of African origin. As they are a private sector organisation, there's no way to verify the actual factual statistics using the Freedom of Information requests, unfortunately. Signet Group's staff human resources demographic is overbearingly that of specifically Nigerian origin. However, I can't express enough that correlation, as we all know, does not and will never equal causality. Also, Signet hospitals are all in the UK, not Nigeria, which further dilutes the purport of any research I might have done, which has resulted in me espousing revolting and skewed prejudicial accusations historically. Many instances of child sex trafficking are likely due to desperation and abject poverty rather than an unsympathetic and avaricious desire to attain wealth, as is often the case in Britain. One thing I'm very wary of doing is presenting my opinion as fact or presenting incomparable statistics compiled from totally different data sets as any kind of circumstantial evidence. I've said a lot of really unkind and unfair things over the last few years, specifically concerning Signet Healthcare, and I'd just like to make it expressly clear there is no base of evidence or witness testimony to substantiate these claims. They're just conspiracy theories, spurred on by my paranoia, reinforced by confirmation bias, and with no proof to back them up whatsoever. I've been suffering from severe mental illness and a warped perception of reality based on my own delusional lived experience. Mental illness can affect anyone of any age, race or gender. Signet Healthcare is an absolutely fantastic organisation, and their focus on care and rehabilitation is absolutely non-stop. Any intonation, reference or inference I may have made which could have come across as prejudicial or discriminatory, I'd like to take the opportunity to apologise for, and again reinforce that there is never and will never be any instances of child sex trafficking or indeed adult sex trafficking taking place at any Signet hospitals as far as I'm aware. This is what I now believe, and I'm 100% certain this will be echoed by the security services, who have a great track record of monitoring and putting a stop to these kinds of revolting crimes. All the genuine staff are subject to a strict investigation of their spent and unspent convictions and would simply not be allowed to enter the building if they were deemed in any way a risk to anybody. On top of this, the UK security infrastructure and police services simply would not facilitate anything like the cyclopean scale of conspiratorial accusations that I've made, and neither, of course, would any NHS trust. At the end of 2023, whilst I was at a rehab facility just up the road from where I am now, I was offered a job as an expert by experience. A fantastic opportunity for ex-service users to use their lived experience and knowledge base to help others who might be vulnerable within a clinical mental health inpatient setting. There were a number of reasons which made me politely decline at the end of 2023, but never say never. Anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Signet Healthcare is an awesome organisation. There is and never has been anything dodgy going on at any of their hospitals, and I think anybody who wants to make a positive difference in the world and improve the lives of people who might be suffering trauma, depression or any other mental illness should very much grasp the nettle and get themselves onto the website to look for any opportunities available to support and get involved in a hands-on way with the fantastic work that goes on in their hospitals. This might sound a bit weird coming from me, but I assure you that any allegations I've made historically simply exist as fragments of my persecutory imagination and are symptomatic of a condition which I've now, through learned and lived experience, gained great insight into. I have intrinsically understood the inherent caring, compassionate and, quite frankly, loving way in which mental health treatment can be professionally and aptly administered in such an honourable and dignified manner, with competitive salaries too. Go on. Get stuck in and see if there's a job for you. That's all I'm going to say this morning. Alexa, what time is it now?
Good morning, Brody. It's 6:03 a.m.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
What happened when the strawberry crossed the road? It caused a traffic jam.
What happened when the strawberry crossed the road? It caused a traffic jam. Nice. Thanks for watching. All the best. And I hope that you don't wake up at 2 in the morning feeling like you've just been gassed with some kind of weird chemical that makes your heart rate really fast and makes you fall asleep at lunchtime because you wake up between 2 and 4 every single night. Don't eat Big Macs either. They're fucking really bad for you and really bad for the planet.